I love to sleep, so I'm usually in bed by 9. Always have been. Doesn't matter the age or the country I live in. I wake up early. I love it. It's my time. It's when I feel that the earth is mine and only mine, no matter where I'm at. Even though I've lived all my life in amazing places, I was just blessed that way. And I appreciate every little bit of it. And I got a lot of gratitude. Let's just say that. So I'm in northern Peru, tropical northern Peru, if you don't know. I launched my YouTube channel in 2006 when it first started. I was living on Maui for the last 20 plus years, and I was shooting big wave surfing when it first started, and scuba diving every day, and shooting marine life, side by side. The scuba diving lasted about 7 years straight, logged in over 5,000 hours underwater, hundreds of thousands of hours of boat hours. Great life, and keeps getting better. And it was awesome before that too. I don't want to go there yet, but I am in northern Peru, tropical northern Peru. Coming from Maui, I didn't think I could find a better place than Maui, than West Maui, but sometimes you just got to follow your gut and let the universe lead. All you got to do is follow or let lead. But for some reason, I think now I've been chosen to lead. And to lead in what? In this future I've been seeing coming for decades. I was born like this. It's been up current, headwind, all the way. And I survived, preserved, unchanged. I've been an astrological closet freak since elementary school, since I picked my first book up at a book fair. Who was it? Judy Blume? I don't remember who was the only author of that kind of stuff. I was fascinated because I knew what sign I was. I was an Aries. And I looked it up and I couldn't believe how a book that didn't know me knew me, like to the T, hooked from the get-go. So I've been roughly messing with it ever since. I was born 1970 at 6:46 p.m. in Reseda, California, Encino, West Valley Medical Center. So my ascendant is Libra, which is considered my opposite sign. Great balance. I look at it as great balance because your opposite sign brings to the table what you were born without. Since I was born with that as my ascendant, I am born with. The ascendant is your mask, is your outside soul, so to speak. It's what the world sees. And your sun sign is your inner soul. It's what you feel and how you feel. Your reference. My moon sign is Capricorn. Capricorn is managerial, organizer, controller. So my emotions have always been in good control unless someone comes to me weeping their hearts out. And then I fall flat. Aries, fire, aggressive, always advancing. Each astrological sign has an animal or an entity assigned to it. If you study that entity or that animal, that's who you are. What their essence is what you do. So Aries is ram. So what do rams do? Ram things till they knock it down. They don't stop. They don't think before. They just go. And they think later. Or they find a way around it or above it. If they don't bust it down. Libra, balance. Always weighing one side to the other. Never deciding, always weighing. Always, 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 always. Aries drives you nuts as an Aries. It's like, decide already. Jesus Christ, pick a line and go. Aries is air, so it fuels the fire in my Aries. My moon, Capricorn. Capricorn is earth. It's what grounds me. Keeps my emotions grounded. I've always been intrigued by the universe. I've always been attracted to everything outside of society, outside of what I was born into. It just didn't all make sense to me. But nature, natural law, the universe, space, planets, astrology, that all made perfect sense to me. So, Aries, I went with what was obvious to me. I don't give a shit about anybody else. I didn't care about all the sheep moving in one direction. I'm like, you guys are all going in the wrong direction. Okay, you don't want to listen. I'll go solo. I don't have no problem going solo. So I was considered a black sheep, but I'm not a black sheep. I'm just me. I was a black sheep because I was the one doing something different amongst the rest. So you could be in a room full of fools. They're going to want to consider you a fool, so I'm out. I didn't follow anybody. I just followed my own compass. In Spanish, they call it brújula. I love that word. Brújula means compass, my inner compass. I love these early mornings because I just think clearly. It seems like it was put here just for that. Wake up morning, have a cup of joe, whatever your morning ritual is. I love seeing first light outside. Supposed to be some swell. I love to surf. I love the ocean in general. I fish, surf, and dive. Don't like the wind very much, but sometimes you got to deal with it. So that's life, yeah? Just got to work around things. So I feel like I'm supposed to be doing these live broadcasts again. I jumped on YouTube 2006, 2007, started uploading all the big wave surf and marine life. In 2007, Google came in and bought YouTube. And they requested me to be part of this partnership program, RevShare, PP, they call it partnership program, PP something, YPP, YouTube Partnership Program. Back then it was called RevShare. I was like, oh, you're going to pay me? Cool, let's do this. So I started uploading my Jaws clips and my marine life, and the Jaws clips took off more because nobody was seeing tsunamis being ridden by us, So I was out there with the first cruise, or second cruise. I was out there during the first crew, the strap crew. I was just where I was supposed to be at the time. I showed up to Maui with from Hollywood with all these new technologies in my head and experience of editing, and so I'm a sharing kind of person. So I just figured I wanted to get out of the matrix, is why I left. I saw Hollywood going downhill. I saw the internet going through the roof. I saw technologies becoming the only thing next to nature that could change your life in a heartbeat for the good. I wanted to move to Peru. My dad goes, no, go to Maui with your brother. Make sure he's all good. You're not ready for Peru. Peru and South America. My dad's from Chile, so my mom's from Peru. They're like, go to, it'll be a good step for you. Go take care of your brother and make sure he's all good. Make sure we're good. If he's good, we're good. Okay. And it'll prep you for a third world. Dad always on it, making total sense. Okay, Pops, let's do it. That sounds good. Sounds like a bonus, really. So I did. And I found my slot. Like I said, I was on a dive boat every morning, anywhere from 2 to 4 tanks a day. And when there was swell, I had to boogie. But I was pioneering something. Well, there were others offering my service, very few, but not at the level or caliber that I was there to do. But anyways, YouTube went through the roof. My Jaws clips went through the roof. Pretty much, a lot of them went viral. I mean, what is viral? Millions, hundreds of thousands, thousands. Nobody knew back then. So they all went viral. They were all more than 10 or more than 100 views. And I did them. I came from Hollywood. I was an editor. I was tired of editing. I didn't want to edit ever again. And I wanted everyone to feel, hear, and try to get it through the screen what I was experiencing out there. So I just left it raw. Nobody was doing that. I thought it was the best form. Plus, I didn't have to edit. I just show up, dump, upload, go on to the next, go surf. That was the beginning of the digital technology gear and influence to as many people that came around me. I was the only one out in the water shooting this type of gear. And then it got crazy around 2004. It became a zoo out there. So it just didn't seem safe to be out in the channel. Even though I was with, ocean safety crew, my mom wouldn't have wanted to hear any of the stories I had if I wasn't. I didn't tell her I was out there with like Hawaiians, like real Hawaiians, and ocean safety. So on top of it, Hawaiians are going to tell you they have so much respect for the ocean, especially when it's big and gnarly. It's almost like they're fearful. And it's just there's huge and deep respect for it. So they don't mess with it at all. So when she's big and rough, it's like she's upset, and they just want to be humble and just kind of let her be upset, not go and stick their finger in her ear when she's pissed by jumping into her waves. But there was ways. I learned that there was how to do that. Respect, pick the right ones, let her pick you. No wipeouts, none of that happened. It was all pure. Great. They wanted me there because I flowed and because I captured. So I did what I did. Then I just backed off and went to the cliff. I was like, oh, I like this. Oh, oh, I can bring food. Well, I mean, I brought food and all that stuff on the jet ski, but being out in the water all day is oof, tiring, and you miss a lot of waves. I wanted to get everything. I was just passionate. I was obsessed. Sat on the cliff with my food and my herb, and nobody around. There was one guy, Big Wave Dave. He's the one that turned me on to the whole thing. He was a bartender at Coolers in Lahaina. I remember showing up there to eat one day, in the first few months of me living there. And I was like, whoa. I go, what's that on the screen? I go, where are those waves at? Jesus, do they really get these? Oh, yeah, on the other side of the island. I go, I shot that. I was like, no way, really? I come from Hollywood. I was an editor, and I love shooting too. And he's like, you should come with me. I'm like, all right, cool. So I went with them one time, and I never stopped. Then years went by. Poof. Was 98, 99? Yeah. I lost touch with him. And I just connected with him again, just like a few months back, or just a few months ago. A good friend from Australia. She's like, yeah, he's still around. And she connected me with him. I was like, oh my God, thank you so much. So I reached out to him, and he reached back, and he remembered. So let's just fast forward 20 years. Influenced all that I could influence. I was from, being one of the only ones really in the channel shooting. There was only two uncles. One down below, Mercer Richards, on the rocks with a full-on Sony film camera. And then there was Don King that was out there with the first crew. And that's it, really. And then came the last few years where there was cameras over my shoulders, to my right, to my left. There was people all over the goddamn place shooting. All newbies, all self-taught, no discipline, no referencing, no respect, nothing. Just, luckily, most of them got stuck with video because they didn't know what to do with it, and it was too much for them for editing. So a lot of them were just photographers. So I was like, oh, perfect. We'll collaborate. Because I'm all about collaboration. I come from Hollywood. I was taught well. Standard protocols. Professionalism. Until the guys with videos started getting, video editing started becoming easier. And it was online, and it was on computers, more, and everyone understood, and I influenced. Just go with Adobe Premiere. That's all I was saying. I go, you don't know yet, but compatibility is everything. They got a huge package, and eventually you're going to want to do graphics, do other effects and stuff that you want it to all talk. And be compatible, and have your workflow nice and smooth, But I was a full rebel, and I didn't want to do any type of studio work. I was over it. I just didn't want to do it anymore. Just wanted to do it my own way. But I did have my own discipline, so I was super anal in archiving my footage, naming it, organized, so I knew that I can find it anytime I wanted, whenever I wanted. So it all had to be done right away. Couldn't just leave it stacking there for a whole season and then go back and then log it. No, it had to be done. So I had a system, and I had to get through that system quick and upload it, because eventually there was people uploading before me. I was like, no. I never let that happen. I saw it coming, and I was like, never let it happen. So I was always the quickest. Boom, 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 boom. So I made some money. Money I never expected to make. And still, coming from Hollywood, I learned residual income. So then I got grandfathered into the top agencies in Hollywood and LA for stock footage. So I was making a living with all that. Plus, I was selling it to the surf sites, Surfline, back then everybody had a budget for it. Sponsors or the writers. Then came Hollywood. Production companies wanting to make, documentaries and stuff. And I never talked about all that stuff to anybody because, whatever, they didn't know. They didn't have to know. So I made my living. Over 20 years passed, and Maui became too expensive. It just started getting super, super like, I don't know, something was just didn't make sense anymore. The natives were restless. My rent was going through the roof. There was no reason for it. It was forcing me to get out there and work more, which is okay, but I just wanted to preserve. I left the matrix. I wanted to live a good life and work second. That's the way I felt it should be, especially when you do something you love. So I never really felt like I was working, but I felt some pressure that I didn't want anybody to put any pressure on me. So whatever, I lasted another 6 more years or so, and I was ready to go to Peru. Well, all of a sudden I get a knock on the door, and it's the lawyer of the bank that owns the house that I was renting, that I went in renting a room because there was 4 of us. Turns out the house was foreclosed a decade ago. And they're like, oh, here's the new rent. If you guys want to stay, you can stay. And the rent was like 5x, something stupid. I was like, what? Are you kidding me? So I was like, all right, no worries. I'll go out and take a look, see what's out there. I started looking, and it was just stupid expensive. It's like, at that time, it was like $1,000 for a studio. And that was dumb. I was paying $500 for a room in a sick house, big house on West Maui in Kahana Ridge. Anyways, I had already been coming back and forth to Chicama, to Peru, for 10 years. So I was already planning my transition that I initially wanted to do. I was like, oh, looks like it's time to go. The exchange rate is excellent. I'm a minimalist, like my sister calls me, simplified. All I own is my clothes and surfboards and my technologies, camera, housings, computer, hard drives. Anyways, what I didn't sell, I gave away. Gave away to close friends, surfboards, paintings, stuff I had on the wall, stuff that I cherished. Passed it on. Surfboards in really good friends' houses, so when I come back to Maui, I have boards to surf. Grabbed my hardware, my technologies, and bolted. I was on the next flight out. Of course, in 2016, my mom passed. So I stopped coming to Peru. I didn't want nothing to do with it. It was horrible, traumatizing. It was, moms are special. Latin moms are really special. But Peruvian moms are 10x special. Anyways, I waited a couple years. Well, it just took me a couple years to let my mom back in. I let her in. I remember her coming to me while I was sleeping. Told me, what are you doing? You had such an excellent plan to go to Peru. You need to go do that. Don't let me, mess those plans up. I was like, okay, I'm out of here. Next day, I booked the flight. I had gigs set. I had everything set up already. So I had contracts set up. So I went, took contract. Set up a contract at Chicama Resort, where I was going for the last 10 years. It's the longest wave in the planet. And that's what I was looking for. I came from snowboarding, from skiing from 4 or 5 years old. My dad had us going skiing. He taught us soccer and skiing. So we were, by the time we were teenagers, we were just, double black diamond, triple black diamonds. We were nuts already. In high school, we were like the only ones going nuts. There was like maybe one other person. I think it was Ruggiero. It was the only other person that really went nuts on the mountains like we did. Jean Paul Ruggiero. Um, we were three brothers, so we were going nuts on local mountains, Mammoth, you name it, we hit it. Anyways, I wanted long. I loved surfing. I fell into surfing was the last sport we learned, and we were older. We were in our 20s. Teenager. I think the first time was in Baja, technically, but really late teens and 20s. Really, for me, it was probably 20s. But we picked it up really easy because, we were already board sport freaks. All the other board sports, land board sports. And I wanted long. The height and the intensity and ledge dropping, that was all easy. We had already done that on the mountain, so that was easy. Drops, no problem. Rail concept, edge concept, same thing, no problem. This was easier because there was water. You weren't going to slide down halfway down the mountain if you fell. Donuts, easy, no problem. Come back up, swim back out, paddle back out. But I wanted long. It was too short of the rides. So I found Chicama. Chicama was like leg burners, unreal. It took me a while to find the right direction of the swell, right time of the year, but it was pretty much all year round. But I needed more size. I wanted bigger than what I was getting, which still was big. But I found the outside peak nobody was going there. I'd already changed disciplines from prone surfing to stand-up paddling because that just popped up on our map and Maui was discovered and launched or whatever, created, just whatever you want to call it. Laird dropped in one day with a canoe paddle and then had him extended it and then got stand-up paddle, and stand-up paddle was like, fuck, get out of the crowd, go outer reef and then go peak to peak. I was like, that's my style. I had more energy. I could do that. Spend 2 to 6 hours out there, That's me. That's what I want. And so I brought them. My first time to Peru, I brought 3. I don't know how I got them here. Thanks to 808 boards and Bill Foote designed. I learned the hard way. I was pioneering it, so I didn't know how to bring the boards over. They got stuck in customs. I don't know how I got them out of customs. Anyways, I got them to the resort, and I left them at the resort, renting them. I didn't expect to do that, but I rented them because when I'd come back to Maui, I didn't want to travel with them. I just wanted to leave them there and then come without boards and just have my boards there. Great. So I would just paddle out all the way to that outside peak. Chicama's huge. It's a huge bay. You have to come and experience it. It's amazing. But the biggest, gnarliest wave of all of it is on the outside. Open ocean swell kind. Anyways, I landed March 8th. Sun's out. I'm going to go surf right now, so I'm going to make this part here quick. I landed March 8th in Lima. Like always, visit my family in Lima and Miraflores. 2 nights minimal, or else they cut my head off. And then I would take off. So on March 11th, I landed in Chicama, Puerto Malabrigo. Kind of like northern central. Trujillo, 40 minutes from Trujillo. March 11th, and 2 weeks later, the pandemic hit. What the fuck? I didn't feel any of the pandemic. I was in this little fishing town. I got Chicama all to myself. No boats. Messing up my lineup. I got all the first like southwest swells. It was always southwest. All of a sudden, La Nina. We hate La Nina in northern hemisphere. Oh my God, La Nina is like El Nino in the southern hemisphere. I was like, what? I couldn't have planned this like this. Southwest, the outside peak was firing. All the peaks were firing. I'm there. I'm moving here. I'm buying land in Chicama. It was freezing. It was cold. I was like, oh my God, 2 wetsuits. I used to wetsuits. And oh my God, it's too cold. I come from Hawaii. I'm like, oh my God. Anyways, I didn't care one bit about it. I was like, I'm fucking ready. I'm staying right here. Oh. That was 2020. I'd come in 2019, did a 6-month stint in Lima, in Punta Hermosa for 6 months, see if I can handle. Flew by, no problem. I handled, no problem. I ran into Felipe Pomar, first big wave champion ever from Peru, living in Kauai forever. He comes back to Peru every year, does his Kauai, Indo, Peru, Kauai, Indo, Peru. That's what he was doing all those years. Anyways, I'm looking out to my peak out front. It's La Isla. And I see 2 paddlers out there. I'm like, what? 2 subs. I'm like, what? I've been surfing. There's been nobody there. Just me. Big, solid right. The only thing is you get a refraction from the Isla. So you got to be careful. But easy. Slab. Loved it. Shitty boards, but I made it work. And it was Felipe out there with Barty, Cerruti, local boy, Charger. Knew the ocean, knows the ocean. He became my second. My first brother is Miguel Vega. He's the GM of the resort in Chicama. He's the first one I connected with, and we back and forth. And then Barty. Barty was big wave Charger. Miguel too, but more so shortboard. But they're like 40 years behind here, but they're so ready to advance quick. All these guys became everything. They're all becoming watermen. Well, not watermen. Technically, watermen is minimum 2 disciplines in the ocean. Can't be 2 disciplines of surfing. It has to be 2 distinct disciplines in the ocean. So fish, dive, surf. Yeah. Sail, boating, canoe. Yeah. Those are separate because you're able to influence each one with aspects from the other. That's the key. Anyways, Barty told me, yeah, we got along great. I went out there, paddled out, and charged with them and everything. And I was telling him my story and stuff. And Barty's like, no, don't buy in Chicama. I go, what do you mean, dude? It's fucking all time. So, no, go up north. I was like, what? What do you mean? We have our own Hawaii. I'm like, no. What are you talking about? I come from Hawaii. I look at Felipe. I'm like, dude, what's this guy talking about? Turns out, it's like, promise me the last month on your visa, go up and stay at my house. Go give it a check. I go, all right, I will. Well, I did, and I loved it. I couldn't believe it. And I came out 2020. That's when I came and got stuck with the pandemic. I did a contract in Chicama, and after 4 months of the pandemic, just living in this beautiful resort all by myself with just skeleton crew, surfing as much as I could, because then they gave me a double protocol, so I wasn't able to leave the hotel eventually. And then they opened the hotel again, or they had plans to open up again for domestic. I was like, I'm in the middle of nowhere. I ain't getting sick. I haven't gotten sick. I don't really believe in this shit, but I don't know. I don't want vaccine. Nothing. Just don't get me wrapped up in this stuff. Okay? I go, Barty, your house, is it ready? So, it's not really ready, but doors are ready for you. Go. I was like, all right. I grabbed one of the personal chauffeurs of the resort. I go, how much? Take me up north. Yeah, no problem. Here you go. Boom, boom, boom. I go, okay, I'm not getting out of the car. We're gonna have to stop and eat. So just you're gonna get out, buy food, and bring it back. Yes, we eat in the car. Okay, boom. Got there, no problem. Took me right to the front door. I did come that 1 month in 2019. Miguel, because I was at the resort, and Miguel's like, yeah, I always go up north. I'll take you up there. I was like, perfect. Everything happening by itself, organically. I loved it. And I told him where to go. And he's like, yeah, I stay down here right below you at the hotel. I always stay at the, he always stays at Soleil Bungalows. I'm like, oh, I'm right here, Surf Hills. He's like, oh, you're in the fucking best spot, dude. Okay, great. They left me there. He came with his family and stuff. Picked up his family, his kid. And that was it. Never went to Chicama ever again. I like to go back. I will go back. Catch a big, fat Southwest. But up here is a whole other deal. And that's all I'm going to talk about. I'm going to go take a look at the surf. It's a little windy. But should be a south-southwest, which doesn't really get up here. But I'm going to go check my charts like I do and have some breakfast. My kiddies are looking at me going, what are you talking, Dad, too much? Again, we're hungry. Look at that. This is Cola, and that's Inca. You guys gonna say hi? They're sisters. They're rescues. I got them at like 4 weeks old. I've been a dog person all my life. Never liked cats until I met tabbies. Tabbies are cats, are dogs. They're the dogs of the cats. So they're just like dogs. They're always around me, following me around, sleep with me. They're adorable. They're great. They protect, and they're super ninjas. Way more ninja than dogs. Pit bulls, probably really close to pit bulls, are some of the most intelligent breeds that there are in dogs. Cats, but these guys are like snakes, and they're like different kind of animals all in one. That's why they say they got 9 lives. They're mystics. They clean your energy. They do things that dogs don't do. Yeah? You guys are galactic. You guys are cosmic. Yeah, look at they go, Dad, you know. I know. So anyways, I'm going to start these little live early morning things. And we're going to be talking about astrology. It's like a mix. Yeah, it's like this new mix that I'm called to like lead. And it's going to be a combination of astrology, cosmic, galactic, because we got ETs coming. Peru's like ET Central. I strongly believe in all that stuff. Real life, like new technologies, sovereignty, all based on freedom, preserving your freedom to do what you want, when you want, how you want, with who you want, right? Old systems are falling to the fray, government systems, all that stuff. I don't mind traditional governments, but they've all gotten out of hand. They've mixed in, church and state, and finance and state is the worst one, right? So they manipulate you get time and energy you put into things, and then they translate it into it's a value, and then that translates into a fiat, is what they use, fiat money. So a fiat is paper. Before, it used to be attached to gold, so there was something there, checks and balances. Well, 1971, they separated that, and they took the gold away, and then that's where all the manipulation started coming. It was a huge move for America. Okay, I agree with that. They attached it, became the petrodollar. They went to Saudi Arabia. I'll tell you all that stories on the next one, okay? All right, guys, love you. Plenty of aloha to everybody. Whoever's listening, I don't care if you're on or you're not. I don't care. I don't even think I have anybody. It's all right. Practice. Hui. Talk to you soon. Aloha.